You're live. You might be live. Okay, you're mostly organized. I kind of a impulse buy, I guess. Lately I was kind of had a hankering for some black boots, and I happened to be at Bewt Barn, and so I picked these up. I don't know if they are a Bewt Barn exclusive, and I don't know if there's other options online that I might have preferred or whatever, but I had a coupon. The price seemed okay, so I grabbed these. And so I didn't want to do too much comparison with other brands, but of course I did want to mention I decided to bump this video up, and then tomorrow's video is the 12 boots in 12 days challenge update that I should hopefully get to tomorrow. So hopefully some of you will tune into that. I do have other waterproof boots. These are the Keen ones, of course, that I got last Christmas that I've only worn a little bit, and they do seem to be mostly waterproof, but they will leach moisture in through your pants and through your socks if you have the wrong coverage or the wrong pants or the wrong yada yada. Whereas, you know, this part was staying pretty dry in the heavy rain, but water was still finding its way in. But of course, this is not a mock toe construction and not a wedge typical, excuse me, almost like a more of a hiking boot outsole than a workwear outsole. But these I didn't wear this week, but wore them a little bit last week, and so I mentioned that in the previous video. Even though they won't be in this week's video. So if you spoiler alert, not planning to wear those in the next 2 days. Okay. And tomorrow being Friday, not Saturday, but Saturday is, you know, anybody's guess. So I don't necessarily consider that part of the challenge day. I might wear, you know, sneakers or some other shoes on a Saturday that aren't the boots. And of course, I've done a bunch of videos about this one, which is the Wolverine Loader, which is similar to the one that one's modeled after. So instead of bringing in Thorogoods, and I didn't buy any Hawks because they didn't have my size, all the Bewt Barn brands, sorry, were the ones that were mostly discounted on special, and those weren't in my size. And then the Thorogoods, I might be able to find Thorogoods online that are a little bit smaller than the ones they offer, but theirs all started at 8 or 9, too big for me or whatever. So they did have some black leather Thorogood boots, but none that would fit me. But so yes, I do already have these. I already have similar to these in another color that are, they have a different name, even though they're the exact same boot, except that has an embossed texture. So I've done videos about both those. And I have these also in an 8-inch height, which these did not come in an 8-inch height. So I was kind of stuck. I would have rather had an 8-inch height, especially with waterproof being part of the options. Because again, if the boots come up high enough, then I'm not going to get any water in my socks. It's all going to run off, and I'm going to have dry feet inside. So these being 6-inch, kind of, but also I think after the winter's over, if they need a new outsole, I will likely maybe see if a cobbler can just rip out the waterproof membrane anyway. By then it might have holes in it, might not be doing anything, and we'll see. Maybe the leather can stand alone. But for winter, you know, hopefully they're good and waterproof, and that's why I wish they were taller. Long story short, as you can see, the seams are slightly different. This one's a little bit more of a modern kind of this and that. The texture looks a little bit more kind of painted. Obviously the black being not a natural leather color, this having a lot of oil and such in it. This one, I don't know what kind of oil and such is in that, but you can see waterproof and the Wolverine paw print. And the backs are pretty similar. Now the big difference, let me grab the other one. The big difference that I noticed immediately, or actually, let me grab the other, they both have a tag. This is where, okay, the sizing let me just jump straight to sizing before we even get into the details. I went with my, what do you call it? The Brannock size. I went direct with Brannock. If you wanted more toe room, I don't think the wide will help you very much. I think you'll need to go up half a size. Because when I tried on the wide width, the only difference that I noticed was that the heel counter wasn't gripping as nice, and the toe felt pretty much exactly the same. And so if you look at the loader and you look at this one, you can see you really have a lot more toe room in the loader. Now that's been kind of annoying with me because there hasn't been a lot of adjustment you can do with these laces. So I feel like I'm sliding around in them a little bit until I wear them and kind of get used to them. Whereas this one, if I was hiking in this, I would be absolutely miserable. There's not enough toe room. But for a work boot, I felt like, well, once this sidewalls break in a little bit, it, you know, it might be a little more uncomfortable than I'm used to at first, but I think it'll be fine. So overall, you can see they're pretty close, not exact. And this is the soft toe, but it does still have a toe stiffener in here. I don't think that's any protective. That's just for looks. This one, I think, has none. Or, yeah, I don't know. The Thorogoods all have a little bit of that, I think. This one is, I think, a true soft toe. There might be a stiffener in there, but it's very small if it is. But this one definitely has, but I don't think this is the Celastic. I wouldn't trust it if you're buying it off the rack. Again, the Bewt Barn website might be where you want to check to see which options, like if you want a steel toe or whatever. I didn't need all that. I was just getting these to get them. We do have one less speed hook at the top. Another difference. The padded collar is similar, but not exactly the same. Slightly different material, maybe, because this material is like connected down into the waterproofing or whatever, whereas this is just a standard polyester, nylon, or whatever that is. Canvas kind of weave. And then, of course, in here we have an unlined kind of suede texture with a suede, what I assume is a natural suede heel counter, because the heel counter's held up really well compared to some other boots, even though I have been wearing these a decent amount, mostly as walking shoes lately. They're not worn out in 2 years. Obviously, they're getting a little bit scrunchy, but they're not worn out. These, on the other hand, will be less scrunchy because of the insulation, which that's what kind of threw me for a loop with the Keen boots or the LL Bean hunting boots, whatever it was. Upland game boots, I should say. So this, you've got this kind of thing going on. So you can't see what the heel counter is because it's all black nylon or whatever. And the insole should be removable, yeah. So we've got a perforated deal there and whatnot. So this, I imagine you could exchange for almost any brand if the shape isn't cut too funky. And then underneath of it, you've got just whatever that should be this. It's kind of fuzzy, clothy feeling. So it's not, I don't think it's leather, the same as the heel counter and the other one. But like I said, yeah, the narrow toe box is the thing that's really going to hit or miss this for you. Like I said, you might. Now, a lot of people will say they have to go with certain brands down a size or down a half a size. I find Wolverine is one of the few brands that runs very true to size. So my Brannock and this are simpatico as far as, like I said, if I was using it as a hiking boot, I would want it a little bit bigger. And I'd want a little bit more of that toe room. But as a general purpose boot, work, walk day, this having this outsole too, not the same as the standard wedge that they have, which of course is different than some other brands' wedges, which can be harder and more slippery or da-da-da-da-da. This doesn't do, I accidentally hit some ice on the sidewalk and I didn't fall on my rear, but that's like day 3 of almost, because I had the Thursday, I had these on ice, and then as soon as I stepped on the dry sidewalk, it was firmly planted, but it was still slippery. And I had the cowboy boots. These, I accidentally hit the ice with these, and it was still going to slip. And this being not quite exactly the same type of compound, or yeah, it's a little bit harder. This is more of a hard compound. So still a bit slick. So I'll talk about that more tomorrow than now. So tune in for that if you get around to it, that video. If I get around to it, if we get around to it. So this one, the tongue, not really that much gusset. This one gusseted much higher. So I noticed that right away. And again, only one speed hook, but the gusset to where the second speed hook would be, where this cutaway am. And so that one, the cutaway, the height is slightly different. You can see it's a little bit different. And so I've got more eyelets here down this one, which I would like. That's not, but doesn't really help me because I don't need to pull this boot as tight because it's already tighter than this boot. That's the way it goes. You have the feature you want on the wrong boot always, right? So worst of both worlds or best of almost worlds. Like I said, I didn't have a box or anything that came with this, so I'm just kind of winging it, and we'll be wrapping up pretty soon here. Leather upper, balanced, man-made, materials made in Bangladesh, another Bangladesh, and UK 6 euro 40 or something. How they fit in Asia, I have no idea. So there's your side and your, plastic welt is probably a standard, and can be replaced later. Again, this outsole being different, still a wedge technically, no indentation here to separate the heel from the regular part. I suppose if you really wanted to be experimental, you could get a hacksaw or something and make a heel out of this, but I don't. You'd have to really grind this part down, though, to give it any kind of drop. So I don't know why you would do that. And this feels like kind of a hard plastic in some spots, and then like a softer foam. So the black is harder and the white is squish. So that should be reasonably comfortable for just walking. I don't know if those grooves in the black part are intentional or if that's a manufacturing error or these were damaged or something. Not entirely sure about that. Yeah, I think that's damage, maybe, because this one's slightly different, but not entirely different. Not sure. And how, maybe somebody else wore these before I got them, but I don't think so. You never know when they've been tried on and what people have done, but yeah, those grooves in the black parts, I can't tell if that's intentional or not. And you can see kind of the seam here, the stitching, where it comes together, and there's some kind of crappy stitches there, but not terrible. I mean, what are you going to do? They were more expensive than a lot of other Wolverine boots, but then again, they're also waterproof. So that bumped up the price to like $180. And so I had the coupon, and that basically knocked off the sales tax. And I'm in California, so I pay like the highest sales tax in the universe. So every little bit helps, but again, not on sale at all. And all the sales ended before I even got there with my coupon. So does this just say black 7 OS wedge MT? Like, there's nothing really useful here that you can't just look at. Wolverine boot, whoa. And manufacturing suggested price $190-ish, which again is a bit higher than some of the other. But then I also got these from Wolverine. Wolverine's always having like 15% off specials and things. And if you buy one, then the next minute you get a coupon for the next pair. So if you really, that's why I ended up with like 3 pairs of this. Because it was like, oh, you want to give me another pair for $30 off or whatever it was? Okay, sure. Why not? I'll wear them someday, maybe. So This, on the other hand, I think is a Bewt Barn exclusive. And like I said, I couldn't find the exact same boot on the Wolverine site. Maybe I didn't look hard enough or long enough. And maybe somebody will chime in and go, no, man, that's the model number, blah, blah, blah. You could have got it for $60 less or whatever. I don't know what the Bewt Barn upcharges. But again, it was the only one in stock in my size that, there was technically 3. If I wanted the wide one or the next size up. But like I said, the Hawks weren't my size. The Thoroughgoods weren't my size. And I didn't feel like poking around all night when this is more or less what I was looking for. A black mock toe boot that I can wear in the winter. That'll go with stuff when I don't want to wear a brown mock toe boot for whatever reason. Which, So it's literally just a style choice kind of thing. So yeah, you've got the fake stitch, around the edge. Like I said, the slightly different stylistic, modernized zigzags and things instead of the standard straight old school. So it's not the exact same boot. And how the outsole performs, that'll be the real test. We got the little bit of pull tab here, slightly different than the other pull tab. That sticks up a little bit higher. I've already complained about this. A 6-inch boot really doesn't need a pull tab. An 8-inch boot barely needs a pull tab, but there it is. It's on there. And like I said, the heel, not quite exactly the same. This one seemed like it would grip me pretty well, but it doesn't grip as well as I would like. That's what I've complained about. And it's not a wide width. It's just a standard. It should be the exact same size. If I can find this size. It's all kind of rubbed off, but just a 7, yeah. And this one was made in Guatemala, not, where did we come up with this one? Bangladesh. So almost American made and Asian made. So that's the basic pair though. They look, pretty symmetrical and they look pretty even. I forget which one I was showing. What I showed the yucky stitch there. Okay, so this one I showed less, I think. And overall, Bewt Barn doesn't have a great selection for me. At least some stores might stock more stuff than others. Like I said, online, I think you're going to find a bit more. But then you can't really try them on. And then the front of the tongue is slightly different. This one is just a suede, so of course that does nothing in the water. This has a different texture. So I don't know if that's a treated suede or not, or what's going on there exactly. Or if it's a polyester microfiber or something. Not really positive. So again, something I might have the cobbler replace, but it is padded. If it gets worn enough, I don't know about the gusseting. Typically, I mean, most of my work boots have not been gusseted, and the tongue always kind of slides and whatnot. So I've kind of gotten a little bit spoiled. I kind of like that higher gusset. I haven't had a problem with the tongues of these, but they do just kind of mush when you lace them. They don't really, hold shape like some of the other ones because it does have like a nylon interior and padding. So, and it is gusseted, like I said, part way, but not as far as these. So another tongue I don't know, have to replace one of these days on the basic model. But then again, a boot like this, once I wear it for a while, more likely I sell this in a yard sale or something than worry about resoling it. I mean, the wedge is so thick that unless it really deteriorates very fast once you start getting past the ridges or something. I don't think that's going to be the issue, but you never know. If it deteriorates really fast, I might put a different outsole on it altogether. But I would be more inclined to want to spend that kind of money again on the taller ones that I like a bit more. These 6-inch ones I just got because there were supply chain issues and all that. That's why I ended up with 2 pairs, and I haven't even worn the other pair. And I do have that other Wolverine one. I forget what it's called, with the totally different outsole. And the, whoops. Let's check in the playlist real quick. It's been a long time and I haven't worn them. They were the ones that I was really worried they were going to be too narrow and smash my feet. I know I'm just kind of rambling now. Because, yeah, 20 minutes. I'm really going to stop in a minute just as soon as I get to this. I'll wrap it up. Be patient, Wolverine. Yeah, here's a bunch of different Wolverines that aren't the right one. Wolverine Loader versus Golden Fox. You've all found that video and watched it already, or some of it. Mocktober Loader. Is that the 8-inch versus the other one? So chapter 79, chapter 77. That's a different one. Chapter 71 was these. Chapter 73, the Forge Wedge. That might have been it. Don't quote me, but chapter 73 might have been the one with that other boot. I don't know. And then chapter 94 was Golden Fox. There was a more recent one where I did the head-to-head with the Golden Fox, I thought, last summer and previous, I don't know. Anyway, there's a bunch. You'd have to scroll. 1,000 Mile Boots was 103, but that's a totally different style of boot. And then I don't remember. I know I talked about this and the Golden Fox more recently in a couple. Mocktober boot review. Does that sound correct? 1 year ago, chapter 145, maybe. That video is 22 minutes. Not terrible. You can always scroll through and see. I should have brought them in, but I didn't. But it doesn't matter. I haven't worn them. But if you really need to know what the name of them was, you can ask me in the comments, and I'll go look at the box later and type that in for you. Yeah, so like I said, I don't remember exactly the numbers of all the videos I've done. I've done a lot of boot videos. And the 12 boots in 12 weeks, again, like I said, I did wear these and the Golden Fox ones, but I didn't wear those other ones, so it won't help you. Won't help you there. So as always, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. And I tried not to make this too endless, even though I did, probably go on for 10 minutes longer than necessary, as always. And I'm doing my wear review of the Key Apparel bibs, although I haven't taken off the the patches yet, or those tags. But I did put them on now to wear them around the house for a little while. And I didn't get to the double knee jeans yet, or the other ones. And I can't unbox the other stuff yet, because mail hasn't gone yet, and the one boots that I thought were mailing earlier that I thought would be here today or tomorrow didn't mail until this morning, so they won't be here till next week. So I do have one pair of boots on the way, and another pair of boots that should be on the way this week or next week. I haven't gotten that email yet. And yeah, I know it's a no-buy year, but I did end up buying, 3 pairs of boots recently. Well, the other pair were paid for back in February or wherever. There's not here yet. And although I did buy these in July, and I just started wearing them to break them in this week. So again, I'll talk about that tomorrow, because they've been kind of neglected, but that's life. Okay,